give all glory to God as I say, I love to sing the praises of my Lord all day long with a joyous song. So what shall we talk about today? Or they throw you out. Okay. Actually, the theme that Spirit's talking to me about is God is the strength in which I trust. So that's a basic truth that we need to practice more and more in our lives. And it fits in with our yearly theme, if you remember what that is. It says, where I am, thou art, and where thou art, I am. That is the oneness of who we are. So I've got some ideas to share with you in a story about this theme and this title of God is the strength in which I trust. But let's start with this poem from Rumi. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness, and you were born with, oh, shoot. We'll get it. That one goes there. Okay. You were born with wings. You were not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. So, the whole truth of everything about our life will eventually be revealed to us all as we come here and we practice and we learn things. It's important that we open up to that, and it's going to go at a pace that will not overwhelm us. So don't feel like, oh, I need to know this and I need to know this. It's coming, and it's going to be different for each and every one of you, how that truth hits you. But I want to state that very little in life is as you've been led to believe. And that's one of the truths that we have to get clear about. But be reassured as we go by day that there is a God, this magnificent source of all that is in life. And part of the truth states that you are immortal. You're made in the image of God, meaning that you have the full potential of being one with Source inside. Now, we as humans have been given free will to experience life as we desire. But it comes with responsibility for the actions that we take in our life, which comes from our thoughts. And knowing that's what New Thought says. Change your thoughts, change your life. And knowing this truth about our free will and being responsible explains why we have duality, so that we get to learn about where direction that we desire to go in. But be reassured that before you ventured into this physical life, you were fully aware of the challenges that you were going to face on working on your full return back to the Godhead inside, which is what we're here to do. God initially set out all souls, all of you and every soul around here, to experience itself so that God could learn more about its creations and about how things were going. That's the truth of who we are here. That's an amazing thing to know, that God, as the soul within me, is experiencing life through me and through each and every one of you. It is said that God breathes in and God breathes out. And you can relate to it on your journey to the inner Godhead. So that means we have to be aware of the day-by-day breaths that we take, that we are alive, that we are connected to God and Source. So I talked to you a few times in the beginning of the year about the teachings of the Christ, which one of them was that the kingdom of heaven resides within us right here and right now. And how powerful that truth is to know that we are connected to Source right here every moment. Therefore, as you get closer to that, it's time to take this truth in the moment, and see your life as much as you can as the epitome of heaven on earth. That's why you are here. That's your purpose. And to look at your life that way. And to see that you have it always as you want it to be, and it will always be as long as you want it to be, because you have free will and you have choice and you have thoughts. You are the creator of your life. So, to be able to get to that place where you can say, I am living it, and I am loving it, and I know who I am. You know who you are. You are the creator of your life, moment by moment. The life you desire, just like I read in the prayer treatment earlier. As long as you live in the solid, loving way that represents your power inside to create the life the way that you want it, it is your moment of bliss. Think about that. Every moment, your moment of bliss. and to be able to create life that way. So do you remember the stories of synchronicity that I shared with you in January? There were a couple of them that talked about how wonderful things happen. So I'm going to tell you a story that comes from a book called Think and Grow Rich by a person named Roland. So the story goes, I was talking to a friend named Gary on the phone while surfing the magazine Yacht World, looking at sailboats. He suspected that I was not fully present in our conversation and said that. And I admitted that I was looking at yachts and wished that I owned a 38-foot Catalina and could have it slipped into San Francisco area with the freedom to fly out there, cruise, and just lay back and have fun. Minutes later in the magazine, I saw this 38-foot and I asked Gary to hold on while I checked it out. It was exactly what I envisioned. As I read on, the owner said he would be willing to trade for an inland boat, which is quite unusual apparently, and that he would trade for a 32-foot Catalina, which is exactly what this person I own, Gary. Roland. I got off the phone with Gary and I called a Salt Lake City number. There was no answer. So I left a message. Half an hour later, I noticed this Salt Lake City number on my phone and I returned the call. He said, I called a Denver prefix. Are you in Denver? I said, yes. Are you in Salt Lake? Well, I live there, but I'm in Denver right now on business. He asked to see the boat. And I told him the boat was not in Denver, but it was currently stored about 50 miles north by the Estes Park exit off of I-25. And I'm thinking, he said, well, I'm north also, I'm very close to that exit. So I'm sitting there thinking, no way, man, this is getting a little weird. So I told him who to contact to check it out, and if it was interested, to call me back. He called me back, said that he loved it, he wanted to trade. At that point, less than an hour had gone by since we first started our communication, and I'm thinking, wow, even the universe can't move that fast. Not. Okay? At that point, I was scrambling, trying to figure out how I might wiggle out of this. We had not talked numbers yet, so I figured, wow, that may be my way out of this. So I offered a ridiculously low figure, and he said, great, I accept it. When can we close the deal?
Oh my goodness.
There you go. God is the strength in which I trust. And where I am, thou art, and where thou art, I am. Very important truth to know. So let's take it a bit further. If you are trusted in your own strength, you have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. What can you control or predict in your life? What is there in you as a human that can be counted on? What would give you the ability to be aware of all the facets of any problem in your life and to be able to solve it in such a way that only good can come from it? What is in there that gives you the recognition of the right solution and the guarantee that it will be accomplished? Of yourself, you can do none of these things. But with source within you, that's the answer. To believe that you can put your trust where trust is unwarranted, and to justify fear, anxiety, depression, anger, and sorrow. Who can put his faith in weakness and feel safe? Or on the other side, who can put his faith in strength and feel weak? The truth is, God is your safety. God is your answer in every circumstance, because there is no place where source is not. And it takes trust. It takes knowing that that is the truth. God's voice speaks for him in all situations, in every aspect of all situations, telling everyone exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection. There are no exceptions to that, because God has no exceptions. And the voice that speaks for source inside of you thinks as he does. Your only job? To be. Be with God inside. Be the oneness that you are. Now, religion is the chosen path of many who need a teacher to show them the way. But it's often a hard one to follow, because it is man's idea of the version of the greater truth. In reality, it is quite simple, and it is covered by this statement: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And every religion has that statement in its own words. One of these Sundays I'll share them all with you. It means treating everyone as your equal, all your brothers and your sisters, and to see all people as the Christ, which is what we've talked about. wherever you are, out in the world, to be in your heart, to be connected with Source, to know that God is around and to see everybody as the Christ. How wonderful. In your present experiences in life, it is perhaps difficult to live up to quite a big promise. But doing your best, you create a pathway to the light. You open yourself up to that light to come more. And it will eventually help you succeed in everything in your life. Universal love sees no difference between anybody, from one soul to another, knowing that everybody is experiencing their life in their own way. As I said earlier, the truth will come to you in your own way, for you. It won't be overwhelming, so open up moment by moment and trust. Sometimes, though, we get into difficulties, don't we? We try to make choices for ourselves and then find out it wasn't quite the right thing. And we lose touch with our higher self at that moment. But we have the opportunity to rise ourselves up again and not to travel that path alone, to know that God is walking inside of us, beside us, and that Source is only a prayer away. All you have to do is say, I need help. I open myself to you. As I stated earlier, God breathes in and God breathes out every moment. Take a breath and know there's God right there in that moment. Once you become a higher being, which is connected to the Christ consciousness inside, your vibrations, because everything is vibrating, so the vibrations will become so high in moving into the fifth dimension that actually the opportunity is there for you to maintain a perfect body that will last hundreds of years. Now, part of your mind might say, what are you talking about? But I'm sure that maybe most of you or some of you have heard of the regular presence of Saint Germain, who is an ascended master. I have a connection with him myself. And he's been on the earth for the last 300 years or so. He's been seen on several occasions, and he never shows signs of aging. Imagine if you had the opportunity to do your spiritual work over a long period of time and to be a mentor to other souls to help them progress over their series of earth lives. Saint Germain even appeared at a meeting in America where the Declaration of Independence was signed, and he was instrumental in drawing it up. He's been around and he's always taken a major interest in humanity's progress and used his influence to help correct us on our path. So, we have that opportunity. As time passes, you begin to learn more about what is the truth of your life. Not necessarily what other people have told you, your parents, religion, government, but you yourself. And to know where is the future taking you on this new journey of your connection to Source. It's an exciting time for a lot of us as our travels are nearly open and a wonderful future beckons to us. There's so much to be thankful for in our life and to learn about so the record can be straight as far as our history is concerned. Not only about Earth's history and our part in it, but our history as a soul. Each period shows that progress is cyclical. It goes in a circle. And each solar cycle ends up with a cleansing of the earth, which is what we're going through now. All of the stuff that we see on planet Earth, the tornadoes and the earthquakes and the floods and the fires and so forth, is a bigger cleansing of the earth and raising our vibrations up. Those who are ascending move into the higher vibrations where no evil can exist and where we can all enjoy a peaceful, loving existence because our vibrational energy is so much higher. Just think about that. To be in a place in your life where you're living a deeper truth, where there is nothing that goes wrong because you're connected to Source even stronger. So it's time, beloveds, to keep your sights upon that which is in harmony. Harmony with the deeper truth. Harmony with the higher vibrations. Ensuring that you're ready to move into the fifth dimension where we will see things and experience things in a much different way. So now is the time to go within and see the wonder that's within you, the wonder that has come in your life and the wonder that's leading you through the changes and choices into a better place. Creation is our bliss of love from everywhere. And creation comes from the choices that we make about ourselves. Where are our thoughts and our emotions? Where are we connected to ego and running our lives? And where do we let that go and connect to God and Source within? creation. Knowing that it's never going to go dormant because it happens every moment of the life. We're here, and even if we leave our physical body, we'll be back again, because everything is in the moment of love. From the life above to below, as above, so below. So, my friends, I tell you all this because I want you to take this moment to know this truth is operating with you. I want you to take this moment to enjoy this day in the moment of love. And smile and walk and know that you are on a constant path to the way of love. That you are rising yourself above the old thoughts that have run your life. And that you have a reassurance of energy guiding you forward. So, I ask you to open up to the now life. To the created in bliss forever and always. Know the power that you have to express your love to all of creation. To see the Christ in you and everyone. To know that love is all there is in the moment of bliss. Let me say that again. Love is all there is in our moment of bliss. And it is time for all of us to love each and every one. What did Jesus know about this? One of the great spiritual avatars is Jesus, one of the wisest, most admirable human beings. It is often taught and believed by the religions that Jesus knew some spiritual truth that we cannot. But if we accept that idea, that belief, we tend to mythologize his life and miss his teachings completely. And that's why we here at Fellowship look upon Jesus as the great teacher, not the Savior, but the teacher to show us how to be who we can be. What Jesus knew, we are also coming to know in what is called in metaphysics the principle of creation, the Christ principle. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, said that Jesus was a man who knew himself and his direct relationship to the whole. The whole. That was his relationship to success. The nugget of knowledge is found in the words direct relationship to the whole. That's what I've been talking about today. I started off with those words. You're going to know the whole truth, which is about love. That's the operative principle of unity, of oneness with everybody. In other words, beloveds, no one can possibly separate themselves from God. They may think they do, but you can't, because God is there. There is no place where God is not. So our goal here is to know what the great teachers, including Jesus, have taught us, and to practice it over and over again in our life, so that we also have a direct relationship to the whole, which needs no mediation by anyone. As I mentioned before, that somewhere down the line, you may not need this church, and you may not need me as a minister or whatever, because you'll have your own relationship to the whole. And that's the goal we're doing for it. That's called being a mystic. That's what Jesus was, knowing the connection to one. Knowing your connection to the Christ, your I am consciousness, that you as beloveds already are there. It's waking up to it. So, spiritual principles are not exclusive to any group in this world. It's not just Christians that use the Christ principle, nor does the principle care whatever name it's given. For example, we could call it Buddha principle. What did Jesus know? What did Buddha know? What did Muhammad and all the great other teachers know? They knew that we are all, as I just said, in direct relationship to the whole. We are one with God. And by doing that, we connect to the kingdom of heaven within us even more. And so these messages are constantly here to remind you. Every time you come here, I'm reminding you, God is reminding you to practice daily the principle of this. God is the strength in which I trust. And watch what happens to your life. Be the love that you are, beloveds. Namaste.
Namaste.